Welcome to Unmuted by GosuGamers, a podcast that takes a closer look at the esports world. In every episode, the crews will be diving into the biggest news, hot topics, and the tough issues that are in the competitive gaming industry. This week, I will be doing the hosting honors, and that means we have an extra spot open for one of our other editors. So we are actually full packed with our editors today. We have Div for Dota 2 and our news lead. We have Cheryl, who handles all of our shooting, first-person shooting games, a little bit of Overwatch even. And we have Will, who handles our lovely LOL side of things. So welcome, everybody. And
Hi.
today,
Hello.
today, I expect it to be a bit spicy. We have some interesting stuff to talk about.
Very interesting, yes.
Yeah, next month, we start so many big competitions. We have
You can see from my
Dota 2.
face.
We have from your face. I know we should be excited, right? Like this should be something that's completely exciting.
we
Can't
should.
wait to talk about.
We should.
Ideally,
We have TI, we have Worlds, we have the CS:GO Major going on, and yet all of us here look completely dejected or frustrated or
I'm not. I'm taking this like a real competition between ourselves, because so many events overlap next month, and they are just the biggest events in each title. I'm excited. It will be crazy but fun.
So we've now learned who the alpha competitor is here in this group. Okay, Div.
It is. Sorry. I didn't know it was a question about.
No, so we have all of this going on. Who wants to fight it out first? I mean, we've got
Well, I guess
TI, we have Worlds, we have CS:GO Major, 2 are Valve, 1 is Riot, 2 are MMOs, 1 is Shooter.
Maybe we can start with Sweden first.
But what about
Sweden?
Yeah, they're flip-flop.
let's talk. Mhm.
Let's talk about Sweden because
All
remember,
right. The visas, yeah.
yeah, the visas. Because remember, the TI was supposed to happen. TI 10 was supposed to happen in Stockholm this year, and then it's gone somewhere else thanks to the Swedish government. And now they are flip-flopping again, and which is why the PGL Major is going to happen in Stockholm. So, what's your take on
Same
this?
venue.
In venue? Yeah.
Same venue.
In
right?
the same venue as TI should have
Yep.
been.
Well, we know who
Yep.
Sweden
Ouch.
prefers now. We know which type of game Sweden prefers now.
We should have like a whiteboard. Let's start tracking and keeping score here. So Swedish government, 1 for CS:GO, 0 for Dota. All right, got it.
I mean, to be fair, I do understand why they had to do it because of the current third wave and possible fourth wave. But the fact that it's being flip-flopped like a switch is a bit vexing for a lot of people.
But do
Was
you
there a
think
reason
that?
for the turnaround?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
do you think that has to do with all the outcry that they got from when they took Dota out of Sweden and they saw kind of a bit of
I think
maybe a
partially.
mistake? Mhm.
Partially. Because I don't, it remind me again, is Sweden one of the better managed
No,
COVID?
Sweden was one of the we don't care.
Yes, there
Go
you
get
go.
wrecked. Go out and do what you
Yes,
want.
it's
See you guys later.
The first herd immunity country. Well, what they wanted, but yeah. So actually, I don't know what they're thinking. Personally,
No, I think because when TI was moved, when Valve took the decision to move TI, it was also Sweden going through a political crisis. They changed something in the government. I don't know if it was the prime minister or some ministers, deputies and everything. But I remember perfectly. It was a sort of political crisis, and they didn't have a clear time frame or window where they would knew what would be the next laws enforced on how COVID is handled in the country. So they said, okay, we're not going to take chances because players had to do their visas, already and settle for boot camps and everything. So that's why I believe, and because Romania was back then so well handling COVID, and because PGL is based in Romania, I think that was the main and first and only reason they chose this country and Bucharest and everything.
Mhm.
I
It's
think
funny
part of
because
it,
now things are looking completely different and
well, and a part of it also was PGL. They were late to the party in getting some of those visa things secured and coordinating with the government as well. So part of it is also on PGL, like had they maybe sorted that out prior to this government shift, maybe it would have been a different story as well. I don't think we can completely discount a little bit of their role in creating it. Is more like a perfect storm. It was a bit of this, a bit of Valve, a bit of PGL, a bit of the Swedish government, a bit of pandemic that kind of made it. And that might be why we're, like Div said, we're seeing the turnaround now is because some of that stuff has settled. Some of that stuff has been taken care of. And now there's a bit of a calm that allows that. But they were always scheduled, right? The
Yep, yep.
CS:GO for that time frame,
It was still on
it
shaky
was
grounds.
just on shaking grounds. But
It was on shaky
that
grounds.
was the schedule. That
That
was
yeah.
what should have been, regardless of TI,
Yes,
Worlds, anything else.
Yeah.
regardless.
So the big thing is then when TI shifted to Romania, they shifted also their dates, which kind of compacts things together.
Yep.
And then we have enter our new fighter, Riot, with Worlds.
Fighter number 2.
They pushed it a month forward as well. Because it was supposed to happen back in November, if I'm not mistaken.
But wasn't it,
And it was
always
originally in
supposed to
China.
be November 6th for the finals in China? So it still would have been a bit of an overlap potentially, because if the finals were November.
If I'm not mistaken, it was supposed to start in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If I can recall, it was supposed to start in November.
Yeah, I just remember there was still a November date, but
Yeah.
I'm not I don't talk about LO.
No, I remember when they first started it, when they first announced that they were going to hold it in China in 5 cities, it was supposed to start in November. So that was my understanding of it.
Right. So, but regardless, now here we are.
Yeah.
Complete. And because Worlds does take a month, it's
Yeah.
a complete overlap of not just
not just
TI, but
yes.
also
Now PGL.
CS:GO.
PGL
Yep.
majors.
Yeah. So
So right now, between the dates of October 5th until November 7th, we will have 3 major tournaments for 3 major games in 3 different parts around the world.
around the world, all in Europe.
They're not side by side in the country.
But it's all on the same time zone too. I mean, that's
That's
what
the
it comes
problem,
down
I
to.
think.
Right.
Actually,
That's
that is the
the
point.
actual problem.
That's the bigger problem. Sorry,
Right.
I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's just a talking point saying that it's the same time zone, it's the same timing, and it's about similar latitude. So players wouldn't be physically, as you know, they won't be having problems acclimatizing to the location, well, except for
But then who cares about the players in this sense? I mean, it's about the spectators here, because the players are going to be
Yes.
doing their own thing and be
Yeah.
focused on that. As a spectator now, we've got 3 different major competitions going
Yeah.
on, and okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say most Dota players are not gonna watch Worlds and vice
Worlds,
versa.
yeah.
Most. I'm
Most,
going on a limb here.
There'll be
most.
There'll be a few
Right.
outliers, but I think
Right.
the general Dota 2
Right. There's always,
population of
those
players
people
wouldn't.
that need a bit of help from others that, will end up
Are you
being
hinting something?
different and special that need to watch both. No, I'm kidding. But like,
I watch both.
See, I told you, those that are different and special. No, but for real, there's a pretty big divide on who, for the most part, will be watching. People that are Dota fans that would watch Worlds is going to be looking to watch more of those finals and vice versa. So, and those two aren't going to quite conflict. It'll be, groups and things like that happening, at the time. So people can still get in both finals or the playoffs part of it, I think, without overlapping there. But you do have a lot of people in both camps, in LOL and Dota, that would be interested in CS:GO and vice versa, because they're completely different games, and people do want to see what's going on in both.
Yeah.
That's
No,
definitely going to be a conflict and
there will be
a
conflicts.
big lesson in time management. Oh, we do have Twitch multi-stream. There we go.
Yeah.
Can we plug that? Can we get on that somehow as a advertising tool for GosuGamers? Twitch multi-stream right here.
Games,
I think the
that's
biggest
probably gonna be-
loss, I think the biggest loss is not for the fans, the already fans of one game or another, because as you said, they overlap, but not in the most super tension parts of the tournament. I think the biggest loser overall is esports in general, because if you come to think of it, you had TI usually going in August, and that would keep the headlines even in the mass media, in the non-esports.
yeah, the exposure will be not
The
as big.
exposure, yeah. So you had all August talking about this tournament with 14 millions or 30 millions prize. You'd have BBC and everyone else reporting on it every now and then, and the discussion going on so many Reddit threads, not just the Dota. Then you had the Worlds coming, and you'll talk about that because also, you have so many storylines, and the Worlds always for Riot was so big. The CSGO majors are also, I think, always they didn't overlap with any TI or never in the history, So you had periods of time when the discussion was keep going about esports and what's happening in this industry. But right now you have all three of them. Not to mention that we also have some MLBB things. All three of them clashing in 1 month, it would be. And then you have nothing, November, December.
Yeah, there's like nothing else to talk about after that.
Right. And for so many of the tournament organizers, that Twitch viewership is the key point for revenue, both in terms of because of sponsors and marketing and advertising, and also just, the kickbacks and everything that you get from your Twitch revenue. All of this will definitely be impacted, though, no matter how you look at it, because it will be split. Your viewership will be split in different ways. Your advertisers are going to have to split their budget into like 3 different areas or 2 different areas, or, and manage it. So where potentially, okay, we have Razer as a sponsor and this and that for TI, and also maybe for Worlds, and also for that. Now they're doing it at the same time. Their budget may have to be allocated differently, and they don't get as much for each of those or something like that. Like, definitely think that the tournament organizers will suffer in terms of that viewership, in terms of that financial, and especially, not that it's a big portion, but if there is no ticket sales, which is another thing that we need to talk about, if there is no ticket sales for all or some of these, the tournament organizers are already taking a hit with that, with the merchandise
definitely.
sales, with all of the pieces.
But let me ask you, who is the tournament organizer, or who is the company taking a hit on TI right now? Because from my understanding, all over these years, it's Valve, right? It's not PGL who would benefit from the secret shop or the ticket sales in the arena or anything is sales around TI. It's Valve purely. And I don't think they care that much about the ticket sales. I hope, I don't know. Or the secret shop. It's a loss, of course, but it don't.
Well, considering the
that
prize
much.
pool is $40 million, and we've already said that's only 25% of what they made. Sure. I'm sure they can go and fill that stadium with free tickets if they wanted to, and it wouldn't really matter that much. But
I think Valve will not feel as much heat as PGL and also the organizer for LOL as much.
But PGL is doing the major for CSGO. So is it the same thing then, that when it comes to TI, the Div is saying for the CSGO major as well, that it's all really on Valve and not PGL?
For CSGO, I think Valve has a little bit more hands-off approach versus Dota 2. I think it's always been PGL-centric events. If you take a look at all the majors, it's always headlined by PGL for promotions, for marketing, for whatever. Because if you see for you see TI, people know it as a Valve thing. And also, if you see the PGL majors, it's always a PGL major. It's not a Valve major or Valve major. So
in that sense, the CS:GO majors are more like majors and minors when we had minors for Dota, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's the tournament organizer and
Yes.
it's their income from ticket sales and everything else that can be done.
So PGL
Also,
will get the
TI,
hit from the major, but not as much from TI, you're saying?
Yeah, also, if you come to think of it, TI has never been using any sponsorship or partnerships. You never see commercials in TI, you never see Razer or anyone, you know. It's commercial free. This tournament has always been like that, and I don't think they had any plans to change it this year.
Yeah, true. It's all, from my understanding, TI has always been very community driven, very crowd driven, rather than Valve going to sponsors. I think sponsors are going to TI and see if they can have fit something in their spot. But as Diff is shaking her head, it's not been happening. So
yeah, I never saw.
That's effect for the teams potentially.
Teams is a different thing.
That's different, but
no, but I'm asking, like,
yeah, for the teams, it should affect because
sponsorship and things like that.
I think
at the same time, TI is the event where I never ever saw any like side shop, where you can sell team merchandise sponsored, labeled, or you can buy. All teams are actually doing this super special TI merchandise right around TI. And you can buy it sometimes at TI. They maybe have a day or two where they can open a shop for that. But they are not labeled Razer. They are not, I never saw that. I have a couple of liquid shirts or even newbie when they were competing with the NA team, with Quincy Crew now. They have zero sponsor on them. They are just purely TI teamed, and that's all.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference between TI and other majors, I feel. Of course, the question is because Sweden is opening it's going to reduce their restrictions for events. Are we going to see more? Are we going to see audiences? And are we going to see the same thing in Iceland? Is Iceland going to open it up? Because this is going to be in November. Between now and November,
Iceland is not. It already said in the
there will be no live audiences.
Sorry.
Unlike Valve, who said, "Here's our announcement to say we have no announcement yet on what we're going to do with our ticket sales." Riot just went straight out and said, "Nope, not going to happen. Just wipe it from your memories. We'll dash all your hopes at once.
It's better just to rip the Band-Aid out." Yeah.
I think that
just let people know like there are no live audiences. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But that's also because of how Iceland handles the pandemic, right? They are an island. They never been open to anything. Yeah, they're super isolated. Their cases have been always super low. I mean, the most that they had in 1 year and a half was 100 something a day. Now they have like 33 cases per day. And that's mainly because they never allowed things to happen during the pandemic, So they already knew the setup.
Iceland, or will this actually be worse for them potentially? Like,
you mean in terms of the pandemic?
Yeah, like with so many players coming in potentially, like you never know. Like something could go wrong.
True.
I'm just saying.
I mean, we can always have like.
Let's hope not, but
we hope not. Nothing will happen. But you can always have like what's the word again? Cluster. You could have we have an MSI cluster. I cross touch.
Yeah, there was. I don't think there was any. Yeah.
No, there weren't any. But just one slip up and everything can go.
I think then that comes down to the teams, and they have to be vigilant with it, like to make sure like their players quarantine and to get tests done and to get vaccinated and whatnot.
Well, I think that also comes down to like Riot and their processes for when the players come and keeping them isolated and away from, say, the regular community. And are the players even allowed to go out and go to the restaurants or go shopping, all of this stuff? Or are they strictly like shuttled straight to the venue to the hotel to, and everything. So then even if you have a case, it'll be isolated and not out in the
Yeah.
regular part of the community.
This is the difference that I think we should point out between TI and Worlds, because Riot did Worlds last year in China, right?
Yeah.
It was successfully done during
And even had, I
worse
think,
times.
limited numbers of fans as well.
There was a small crowd. Again, the times were even worse. Were full pandemic last year, and China was like super. You know how it was. While PGL, all their LAN experience through this pandemic, it's Singapore Major, where they had the 24-hour quarantine or 48-hour quarantine. And we had so much discussion about how that event went and how it looked and everything. So this is what worries me. I'm really sorry to say that. I have trust that Riot will handle this Worlds way better than what might happen with or without the crowd.
And also Riot has precedence. Riot has precedence of doing event in Iceland successfully for
given their track record.
Yeah, they have
given their track record, I think it's been pretty solid so far. So I wouldn't think there's much to actually worry about.
Yeah.
But
and considering it's the same venue, right?
Yeah.
It's the same venue.
It's the same venue, but I think they're playing in a different hall.
What
was the event?
But it's the same government. It's the same process. It's the same venue.
Yeah.
Like they already have. Basically, they went back to what they knew they could do.
Actually, there's already a framework set in place,
Right.
and I think that if they can just follow that, then I think that would be great.
Yeah. They have done it before.
Yeah.
If they just follow it to a T, they should do it again without any problem. Now,
so no, because there's only 3 weeks left. Oh no, there's only 3 weeks left. Oh.
Again, I think they have they chose that venue for a reason, because they know it. They know how to work around it. They know how to do sounds, lighting, everything that's related to a tournament, booths and whatnot.
As Will said, they had a book. They already have a playbook. They can just follow the same playbook.
Essentially,
While with PGL, not only that this is the first TI in Romania, a country that doesn't have the infrastructure so ready for something like this. It's the first esports tournament ever held on this national arena, which we have here, which is a football arena, basically.
It's covered, right?
Yeah, it can be covered. I mean, it has a rectangle roof that works. It's huge. I mean, 55,000 seats. It's something huge. TI never had such a big arena before.
Yeah, I think 18 or something was
the highest. Yeah, I think Mercedes-Benz. Yeah.
But it's going to be as empty as Olympics this year. That's the sad thing, because this esports should be a community spectator game. You know, where fans go to cheer their players. It's kind of sad.
But when we had the we've talked about this, Cheryl. You have to pay attention to our podcasts and watch things. If you want to join us and play our games, you need to come and pay attention. No, but we talked about even the Olympics in Tokyo had spectators, but they weren't even allowed to cheer. It was
no. Actually, most of the big ones there's empty seats. So.
And the empty seats. So it's not just the esports thing. I mean, it's just across the board in terms of spectators and audiences for anything. I mean, you could technically have a concert too, but not have an audience, and hold a.
But this is the thing. I mean, Olympics and sports competitions like Olympics or gymnastics, or the sonorization technical problem is different when you held it with audience or with not. So holding a TI or an esports event in a stadium, an empty stadium, I only imagine that it requires a different sound setup than having it full packed, knowing for how much people you prepare for, the acoustic and everything. I mean, TI usually has commentators on site, right? What do you do this year how do you prepare this? Not knowing if you have audience, how many audience, or not at all. And these are some of the things that I'm a bit worried about, that the technical part might be a disaster for this TI.
Do you think that would
Not
also impact like the opening ceremony and things like
everything.
that too then? Mhm.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I'm super afraid, knowing, I mean, again, I hate to say it, and I hate to be in this position where I have more trust in Worlds delivering and in Riot delivering,
As
because
do
I'm a Dota
I.
person, you know,
Sad to
and
say.
knowing that TI, it might look just something there this year, you know.
Like
It's the
any
10
other
TI,
LAN. Mhm.
it's the 10 TI, we had so much hopes and high hopes for this,
Yeah.
because it's their anniversary and we are in
The
this
monumental
situation.
one.
And we lost it last year. So
yeah.
but I think that's probably why, as much as like we poke fun and say, you know, Valve's announcement of no info of no anything, comes into is because they are probably holding on until that last minute to, with the hopes they themselves, you know, their own hopes as well, that they're going to be able to have an audience, that they're going to be able to have spectators come in, and whether those spectators also are people that are quote unquote invited, you know, because they get passes from teams or media, or they get maybe locals or local government officials can go, or their kids or something to that effect, you know, or if it will be open to the complete public, you know, that also is a completely different thing. Like, where will they go? But at least, you know, I'm sure they're still hoping for whatever scenario they can get, and they probably still just don't even have that information. But how long do you think they can wait before they
thing-
have to make that decision? And
I'll
stuff? Like
explain
how-
you a bit what happened here with that announcement, what I read behind it, because it's super strange and funny and sad at the same time. So when they moved the TI from Sweden, it was because they couldn't really get a straight answer from the government, because they were undergoing changes in the government and everything, and you wouldn't know who is the Ministry of Transport or Culture or whatever they needed. The same exact thing happens right now in Romania. We are going through a political crisis. The government might change in the next few weeks. Corona cases are ramping up. School starts.
This
School
feels like
start this week.
an episode of that Groundhog's Day movie where it's just like we're
Exactly.
going to repeat the exact same
Exactly. So they are
scenario.
in the same scenario from a few months ago with Sweden, and they have no escape from it. I mean, they can't really change it again right now, because teams are here, most of them. The venue is rented. I don't see. Well, if Valve, what's this Friday today, right? When we record.
Yeah.
If Valve makes an announcement tonight about TI being delayed and moved, I will laugh 3 days in a row. But I don't think it will happen, you know? I don't think it will happen. Although we are in a very similar scenario with Sweden a few months ago when the TI was moved. So that announcement, although, you know, many people are saying, yeah, well, great Valve, you did an announcement of not announcing anything, but I somehow think it's the most genuine announcement seen from Valve in a while. They truly don't know what to do because of the political situation in the country, because we don't take any actions, but we talk about possible lockdowns or whatever needs to be to be done to help keep this under control again. Again, the school starts this week on the 15th. And that usually comes with another wave with more cases, you know, ramping up after the first 2 weeks of schools and everything. So, yeah.
I just personally, I feel that announcement of not an announcement is Valve hoping against hope.
Hoping against hope. Wow.
Yeah, hoping against hope.
That's a good way to put it.
A TI against the odds.
Now, then,
We have
that's
our
all I
new
can give.
theme. Against all odds.
Against all,
Yeah, I got super. I mean, just before starting this call with you guys, I watched Beast Coast documentary made during the Annie Major, and I got super sad and I got chills because there were players there talking about, you know, Beast Coast at TI9 was the first SA team to reach top 8. It was something absolutely crazy, spectacular, never done before. And yeah, and this year the players said what they wish a lot is to bring their families to witness what they do on the TI stage. And at this point, not even that is clear that it's possible. So, okay, crowd can't be there, fans can't be there. But look, you come to think about these players, they waited almost 2 years for TI. They will be with no crowd, without even the family support to have it there. I mean, you see at OG when they won 2 TIs, the families were the first on the stage. Sisters, brothers, father, mother, everyone was on the stage, the first persons to congratulate them, to show them their support and everything. And I think the family support is the most important in events like that, besides friends and everything, fans.
Right, and
I was
Valve
thinking
gives the
about that
tickets
this
for
morning.
that specifically. They give
They
tickets
usually
so that
do,
the
yeah.
families can be there and can be a part of that, because they know it's such an integral part of the support network, of the support system. I mean, some of these people too, they're kids. They're young. It's their first time traveling internationally. There's a lot that goes on, both in their own anxiety, their own emotions, all of that stuff, and to have family support, to have your team support, is a well-rounded, healthy approach to making things have some more ease. But yeah, I mean, I'm hearing through the grapevine that the teams have been told, hold out on even letting your families know if they can come or not. And we're 3 weeks away. For some of those family members, they already need to be in a visa process. They already need to be looking at plane tickets. It's not like Valve flies all these family members, from South America or all over the world, all the family members too. I mean, there's, a lot more planning for these family members and everything. And, everybody's sitting on edge. I can imagine that probably also somewhat impacts boot camp time and focus and stuff too, as you have this bit of anxiety, this bit of worry. You're checking to see if your family is okay. Are they going to be able to come? All sorts of different factors are playing into things now. And it's a pretty big deal. I mean, you have 3 teams from South America this year. It's a pretty big thing. We have 32 or something debutantes, their first time ever for TI. I mean, I'm not saying that Puppy doesn't need his family support or anything like that, because I mean, also there's, how great would it be if his family could be there and he won the first TI and then he won the 10th iteration TI and he's the only all-timer. And so, I mean, from all levels it comes in. So
that's where the family should be in. That's where the family should be. But with the uncertainties, it's making it very hard for planning to happen. And that's, I think, one of the biggest saddest thing that's unveiling for this coming majors.
So as much as that's an impact, should it mean that, oh, well, we don't have these big events then because we can't have spectators, or we can't have family, or we have that, or, do you just call it off then? I mean, how about last year? We didn't have any last year.
Can Valve afford to call off TI again?
But I'm not saying can they afford it or not. I'm saying in a situation like this, where there's a pandemic and we're saying, oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's awful. We don't have certainties. Oh, we can't have family. We can't have spectators. I mean, what's the alternative then? Not having one at all?
No, I don't think.
So,
I don't think that's an alternative.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, they still have to go on. Even these things might be sad points and everything, but they are, they're not going to just not have it, especially 2 years in a row. I mean, if it was the first year like last year, that's a bit more understandable. But you can't just say, okay, this pandemic was supposed to last, we all thought, what, 2 weeks? Oh, we'll be all locked down for 2 weeks. This is fun. We're going to learn to make sourdough. We're going to do all of these things. I'm going to clean my house. And we're
this
2 years into it.
This year is 2020 version 2.
Yeah, we're 2 years
essentially
into this. There's new variants. We said, oh, when we all get vaccinated, it'll be fine. Well, we're all getting vaccinated and we're still not fine, So we don't know what the future is going to hold. We can't just keep calling off these big events just because we can't have these factors.
I don't think I'm going to use this word sparingly, not as powerful as it is, but morally and ethically, the games should go on. they should not have like a stoppage for.
Well, Worlds did happen last year,
Yeah, Worlds
correct?
did happen,
I mean,
yes.
Will, tell
Yeah,
us.
Worlds
I
did
mean, so how did it go?
It was a
What
pretty
went right? What went
close.
wrong?
I don't think anything went wrong with Worlds last year, to be honest. Like they even managed to get attendees to go, but if I'm not mistaken, it was only allowed for residents in China itself, and you're not actually like people from outside of China were not actually allowed to attend. I think certain media members and publications and whatnot, and probably maybe I think certain teams. But as far as I know, I think you had to be a resident to be able to attend Worlds, and that's about it. Like it was very closed off only to China, but teams from around the world could still come in. Yeah,
And how was the
See, this
reception
is
to it? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sure it's
Go
pretty
ahead, Din.
good.
no, continue. Never mind.
No,
me.
I was just asking, like, how was
Yeah.
it? How was the reception to it in terms of like from the fans' perspective and being able to still watch it while TI didn't
Oh, I think
exist
definitely
and we didn't have it, you know?
Well, for the most of the world, I think everyone's pretty pissed off that they couldn't be able to be in attendance. But I think for people who were there, I think there were roughly a couple of thousand, roughly a few thousand people who were in attendance. And I don't know, they all looked pretty appreciative. Like everyone was like still cheering. You could see like people were still wearing masks and things like that. Like it was just a very surreal experience to see like a whole group of people suddenly attending a final when we never had anything like that for a whole year. And the sad fact that Riot is not letting people to attend once again is just goddamn.
I don't
How
think
was the
it's
production value? Oh.
again,
Yeah,
I don't
production
think
value
it's
was pretty
Riot.
top notch though. Knowing Riot, given the level that they've been over the past years, production value has always been damn. Like I've only started watching a couple of years ago, but damn, I can see like they really put a lot of effort into it. Like the fact that they are like the sole organizers, so that actually plays a really big part. And teams actually trust Riot enough to actually hold events that to their liking, so to speak, you know? Like I've never heard of anyone actually having really bad complaints about Riot held events. Like Worlds has
None so
always
far.
been, yeah, like Worlds has always been like very smoothly run, so as MSI.
Yeah.
I think even like the recent VCT Masters
Yep.
as well, like
Yep.
people weren't really complaining as well.
No, not
Wasn't
much.
it-
That's just in line with how Riot operates,
Yeah.
right? They are in control of everything.
Yeah,
There's
Riot has
nothing-
their hand
while-
in everything to make sure like
Yeah.
everything goes according to what they want it to be. And I mean, so far so good. They've done a pretty good job when it comes to being event organizers as well.
Yeah, which is
Wasn't
why
it
I'm
their
not.
first event where everything got completely shut down for hours and things like that? And then they ended up ordering pizza for everybody in the audience. They had to wait during a pause that lasted for because of internet issues or something. And there was, it was like, I think it was their first big event too. And they had internet issues or something that was kind of out of their hands and they had paused it. They restarted it. They had to pause it. They had to restart it. Then it waited for hours, all of the people in the audience, and they ended up like ordering pizza for
Yeah.
everybody. And like they
I
gave everybody
definitely heard about
t-shirts.
this. Oh, but I can't remember.
But
when
that
was
is the
this
point.
about.
That it's out of their hands. It's the internet providers.
But they still, the way that they step in and address it and take
Yes,
care
that's-
of it and everything is,
That's
you
the
know what I'm
best
getting
point
at.
about it. Yeah.
Right.
See, this is the difference I was trying to say, that the Riot is always in control of everything from tournament formats and locations and how they are run and how they play and how everything, while Valve is outsourcing basically everything from prize pool to who is organizing and who is doing the production and
Which is why I'm not worried about Worlds.
yeah, exactly.
I'm just worried
Actually,
about
I have
Majors
high
and
confidence.
TI.
It bothers me that because we had Worlds last year held the way it was, even with crowd and everything, it's like, and today we are less than a month, 27 days or something like that until TI. And as
who's
Will
counting?
just said, everyone, just Will said, local crowd was allowed, local media was allowed on site, so they avoid traveling and everything with some restriction, with some test, with some. Now we have the COVID vaccine certificate as
Yeah.
well that can come in play, and Valve is
now-
refusing to do anything about this.
Yeah, we're not hearing anything about that, and that worries me a lot. I'm
We're
just
we're okay though because we have Div and we're gonna send her with a microphone and a camera crew and she's just gonna stand outside the hotel and stalk the bus and chase down anything she
Gets-
can and she's gonna show us the stadium from the outside and tell us a story and create a whole
And then there will
picture
come the police to take the crazy lady in front of the hotel or the arena.
That's
But
okay. GosuGamers will bail you out. We got you on this.
we have bail money set aside.
Is Romania jail okay? Are we?
I have no, I don't want to find out. Sorry, not in my plans for this year. But no, it shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't turn your journalists or the people who work in this scene for it. I'm not talking about me. There are so many other great Dota 2 personalities and writers and everything who are living for TI. You know, each year you put all your efforts and all your focus on this tournament. And yes, I'm in a privileged situation right now because I'm in Romania, and worst case scenario, as you said, I can just try to be this paparazzi that I really hate to be. But what do you do with other people? I mean, you can't justify someone's outlet sending a journalist to Romania to just take a few pictures in front of the empty arena, or you can't do that. So you're killing your scene, your media. You know, the people that always been devoted to this game. They always reported on everything that was Dota involved. You take their job like that.
Well, I can tell you that I know there are quite a few personalities in the scene that rely on TI as their networking for their upcoming year. You know, will they have a coaching job, or will they have casting gigs, or will they have coordination with certain teams and everything? And not just even that, I mean, players, there are other players who didn't make it to TI. I mean, we know all of these, the big post TI shuffle, a lot of these things start happening in the after
Yeah,
party,
the after
and
party,
and the networking and things like that at TI, and you know, people's careers.
It's not just about the game. It's
right.
also
I mean,
about
it's the
after game.
entire ecosystem and community. People's careers do kind of depend on that time that they have at
hinges on
TI
this.
for the upcoming season. That's kind of the marking point for when everything will be kind of set in stone for the new season, which we also haven't even heard anything yet about what the new season is going to be or when that's going to happen and everything. So we're still waiting on that information as well. And typically we usually get that right around TI time, like just before, and it was postponed and we still don't know. Will we have 2 majors? Will they try to squeeze in 3, you know, into the time period? Will TI always take place now in October instead of August? Like, there's a lot. Also, that this upcoming year has a lot of uncertainty as well.
Because we actually talk a lot about how TI might not be great, or we have no clue, and how Worlds was okay last year, and we expect a lot from it this year. Between 2020 and now, what would you say was the best LAN in terms of everything from how it was handled with the audience to production value across these titles?
Well, I think for Dota, you're going to have a difference between what spectators saw and what players experienced. So it's hard to count any one of the Dota majors and lands as anything, because we've heard that what we've seen on camera or on stream wasn't necessarily how the players felt about the experience as well.
At the anime major, yeah.
And I know,
and also none of the Dota major had audience, right?
right, no audience there. We haven't had an audience since pre-COVID, because even BTS
Star Ladder Minor, I think it was the law, or no, Summit 11 or 12, the one that was in NA.
Yeah, but they have some, I think, audience, but not real, like just people
Super
that
small,
are part of it. Yeah.
So before that, I think it was
because we were supposed to have ESL Major in LA, and then that got canceled.
And before that, we had Star Ladder Minor, where Aster won and should have gone to the LA Major,
Right.
and they had the visa
So that would
problems
have
and everything.
probably been the last. That was probably the last with an actual public
Oh.
audience.
Yeah, and Starlet Arena is also small, so it's about, I don't know, 1,000. It can be, I don't know, 500 people.
Yeah. So I guess we can write Dota out of that question, and we'll have to look at now.
Did you had
LOL or,
any majors, Sharil, or any Blast or anything tournaments with audience this year?
This year, the most recent one will be Cologne. It's a very small scale audience, and it's not a 10,000 seat event, but it's the first LAN event with an audience since 2019. So I would say the fact that they managed to do that is a big thing, and it happened in Berlin as well.
is this the one with Valorant too?
No,
Valorant is in Berlin right now.
No, Valorant. It's happening soon, which is I think the next couple of days. Yeah, it's starting on the 10th. But this one, the Valorant one will be.
Does that have audience?
No audience. As far as I know, I don't know if they suddenly last minute they changed it, but the last Valorant event was in Reykjavik, the same time as
MSI.
MSI. Yeah.
MSI had
And
no
there was-
fans.
There was no fans, right?
The last league tournament that had events was the LCS Championships to decide who will be going to Worlds. So that one had limited fans and press at the venue, and that was the only one in
When
NA.
was that? You said?
This was I think a month back. A month ago.
Mhm.
Well, technically, Dota did have in China, the regional league had spectators.
And they also have the I-League seasons 1, 2, and something else.
And they have their spectators there. I mean, of course, it's mostly locals, because it's who's there in China, but there have been spectators for at least that.
Yeah, but outside of China, we had absolutely
nothing.
nothing. And we also had just two, from all the tournament organizers we have in Dota, we had just two let's say two, who were given a shot at trying to run a tournament, a LAN this year. It was PGL and One Esports. They were together for a Singapore major, and then WePlay, who hosted their first ever major in a absolutely disastrous time. And as we know, it looked great on the screen, but there were so many problems behind the scenes, which I don't know. At this point, I think I'm not surprised, because again, they don't have the experience of running a major. It was their first time dealing with 16 teams on site. That can become an issue, or be challenging even in a normal time where you can do everything normally. In a COVID pandemic time where you have to take 100 other precautions, I can imagine how it went wrong without having the experience that is. So yeah.
So are we forced to just resign to the fact that LANs will just be a thing of the past for spectators and fans?
I don't think LAN is going anywhere. It's just that it's going to be
no. I mean, for spectators and fans to attend.
As I say, I don't think it will change, but there will definitely be a chance for an audience.
I think they will definitely be back, because if like football teams, like football games, NBA and all that could actually have live attendance, packed stadiums, I don't see why esports events couldn't have as well in the future, especially in the coming months.
But then why aren't
they?
we?
At least.
We don't know.
I don't know. I'm just watching US Open right now because it's happening, and the arenas are full.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. So why aren't they happening? What's the difference?
Fun fact: one of the reasons why Sweden is being pushed to open is because Elton John is planning for a concert there, and
seriously,
Elton
John.
They want to open a 50.
Elton John.
Elton John.
Still alive?
He's still alive, and
he's
they
still
want
making
to
music.
Still standing.
And they are planning for a 50,000 seat concert.
God, Damn.
And apparently, I just checked just now, it's all sold out. And this is for September. So,
We also have a
September.
concert in
We're in
Bucharest.
September.
yeah, at the end of
There,
September.
Well, at
Like
least we know
23rd,
Elton John
24th.
is more popular than esports, so
No, because
definitely.
if Elton John can open a concert, why can't we full pack audience
it's
for
Elton
spaces?
John. Did you not see Rocket Man?
TI is giving up $40 million.
Yeah, but Elton John is a concert in Sweden. Okay, so that means that that's another indicator that the CS:GO major will most probably have full packed, or at least 50%.
If not full pack, more they definitely will be opening seats and tickets for sale.
I'll tell you a funny story or a strange story. We have a concert. We have many concerts in Bucharest, but we have one coming now on 25th of September, which I will be attending, and that's like 10 days before TI, right? And it's
Okay,
still
tell
happening.
us. Who are you going to see?
LP.
Who? Oh.
LP. Yeah. So that's also happening in an arena, open arena.
Damn.
Strange.
So concerts work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not cancelled. I won't be surprised to find out on the 23rd that it's cancelled or whatever. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think we just have to wait and see right now, because if these mainstream events like concerts and sports events will be opening for audiences, it's just a matter of time for events like majors and normal tournaments to have LAN audiences again. If lucky by the end of the year, because Valorant is going to do their big major in December, is going to be in Berlin. Yeah, so I'm expecting that should have audience participation and tickets.
I don't know. I mean, all these
Audience
events that happened.
Sounds like they're gonna get up on the stage. And
Again, we go back to how we started this podcast episode of our podcast, asking if Riot is actually throwing a war to Valve, or what's happening with these walls actually overlapping with both TI and CS:GO Major. And again, I'm gonna say I'm pretty convinced that they did that to avoid problems with Corona wave 4 coming in Europe, because right now, so the Romania situation is, as I said, not good. Germany is also not super good right now, and I don't see how it will get better until December, when whatever tournament they want to hold, I don't think it's going to be with crowd. I mean, I have zero expectations to have crowd there.
And we've seen an increase. Here we've seen an increase because of diaspora and because of summer travel and vacations. And remember that in December is the second kind of wave of vacations, holidays, people taking trips. And so now you have another wave expected usually around.
This is how the outbreak actually started in everywhere else besides China, because
right, because of the
people had traveled during the holiday, during December, and by March, everything was shut down and in lockdowns around the globe. We also you had the normal, I mean, the Christmas in December that most people celebrate. You had travels for that, and then you have the Chinese New Year, where Chinese people were traveled abroad, for that. In February is that. So March was, I remember exactly how 15th of March was first lockdown day for me, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Same here, we had the same date. So most of Europe.
I think I I think for Malaysia it was around that time as well.
About that time.
Yeah, about that time.
Globally is about that time.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years later talking about the same problem.
Oh, goddamn.
And
sometimes I really just leave this podcast feeling so sad.
We're all playing the game of life on ultra hard mode.
Oh my, it's like we just start talking about it, and we get done and I'm like, wow, really?
One good thing though, as you said earlier, we have how many debutants for TI this year?
Oh, I don't remember the exact number. I think it was like about 32 or 36. Some of these numbers are sticking out in my head.
We have
in the 30s.
We have more than almost 3 dozen new faces in TI. We can only see where they can go up and up after this.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly enough, TI typically has about that many debutantes each year.
Mhm.
You know, it's pretty much always in the 30s range and stuff. So, no, I mean, storyline wise, there's some really fantastic things going on around the teams and the players that are headed to TI. I mean, this is not to diminish in any way, shape,
no,
or
we're
form
not.
what we're about to see. We're definitely got a lot to look forward to, a lot to cheer for, a lot to get motivated for. We, as in the four of us, will be in need of some serious help in the next after the next month, because
Yep.
the coverage around the clock. So everybody be sure to check GosuGamers. It will be just jumping with content and news and information for the next month and a half. So
Yep.
on that note, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what you like and don't like, what you want to see more. Also, make sure you represent your team, Team Dota or
League?
LOL.
CSGO.
You know you want
what
to.
did you say? I'm sorry. I heard,
You heard me?
Dota.
Come on, support veteran. It's the newest kicker.
Who?
League is better.
And we're up on Spotify and iTunes as well. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Keep up to date on everything we've got going. And we'll see you guys again soon. Hopefully with some good news about some land situations.
Hopefully.
One can
Bye.
hope.
One can hope. And sayonara.